Hey guys, this is Jenna with Hill Valley Farm, and I have had a request from someone to show how to check FAMACHA. So what is FAMACHA? FAMACHA is an acronym, and it is basically it's a tool to measure the ocular mucous membrane. In layman's terms, what does that mean? That means the inner portion of the eye, the skin part, and it's the very inner. It's not the outer of the eyelid. It's the inside. And I'm going to show you guys how to do that right now. But before I do that, we've talked about hoof trimming before, and I've also mentioned that this is what I check when I do my hoof trims. Now, depending on your area, what your goats are around, if you've had issues, because this is checking basically for barber pole worm. Obviously, you're not going to see a barber pole worm. The reason why you're checking the mucous membranes is you're checking the color of them. So the color is what you're measuring by. And because barber pole worms create anemia in your goats. Now, barber pole worms, if you know anything about anything to do with goats, are extremely bad. Your goat can be fine in the morning and it can be near death in the afternoon or the evening. And that's how quickly barber pole worms can work, sadly. And when it hits, it doesn't just hit one, it can go through several of your goats, and it can be very detrimental. So we check FAMACHA when I do hoof trims. And this is Ellie. She's going to be our little guinea pig today, and she's just really happy because she has food right now. But I would be trimming her hooves, but we just did for show, and they're not due, so they're nice and short. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how I do that now. Okay, so like I said, this is how you do. You cover the eyelid up top, you pull down, and you push in her eyeball, and you have to do it quickly, and you can see the skin right here on the inside portion, and she's nice and pink right there where my finger is. Sorry, Ellie, they don't like it, and who would? But that is how we tell. Now, it's probably what I imagine is a different color on my camera, but I'm very happy with her color. So I would not do anything with her. I wouldn't worry at all. Now, when we do talk about parasites, parasites, they're a big topic among small ruminants, because really there's not a lot on label for goats, actually, if any. So I'm not going to go into what we use and why and all that, but the biggest thing and the most important thing about parasite control is you don't treat on a schedule, you check on a schedule. And that is something that, it's from the universities. University of Tennessee put on the Master Producers of Small Ruminants class, and I took that class, and that is the biggest thing that they wanted us to know, is you don't treat on a schedule, you check on a schedule. Why? Because if you treat and you continually treat on a schedule, those parasites are just going to get resistant to what you're using. And when you have a bloom, that thing that worked before isn't going to work for you. And then what are you going to do? So obviously we have different things that we can use. I am not going to sit here and tell you what we use, why, how much, nothing, because that's not my thing. But what we do so far for our farm works for us, and that is we check on a schedule, and if we start seeing issues, we then do a fecal, and then we treat. And so that's how we do it here. It's not a good idea to treat blindly, here. Fortunately, we have not had a bad case of barber pole. We deal with a lot of coccidia here because of our low-lying property. Anyone that lives on just flat property, you're going to have coccidia, and that's what we have here. So this is why we do coccidia prevention for our kids. We know 9 times out of 10 when an adult has an episode, which they say adults can't get coccidia, they can. It's just they can just get overbloomed, they can have a bloom is what they call it, and that's mainly spring and fall when it's wet, and then in humid in the coccidia can just grow and multiply. Now, the other thing to know about FAMACHA is this. You know, there is a card. You can get it online. You can get one from your vet, I have been told, but I did that online. I have a few does in my herd that are much older and that were not here. They've not lived here their entire lives. This their FAMACHA that's normal for them is much lighter than what's normal for Ellie here. So Ellie is that really nice, really bright pink. Irma, which is her great aunt, is not very super pink. She has her normal, and her normal is a light pink. Now, in the very beginning, I'm going to let her out because she wants to get out. In the very beginning, when I got Irma, I was really concerned, so I treated her. But she had no symptoms, and so I talked to my goat mentor about that, and she said, really? She said, that might be her normal. And so as long as I've had Irma, which is, 3 years now, it's always been the same. She's always had the same color, and it's always been her normal. Now, I did find out that they had an event of barber pole at that farm before I got Irma, and they lost one of their does that was in a herd with Irma. And so maybe that's when Irma just became used to that type of load, because they do always have some parasites. It's whatever they're used to. So I hope this was extremely helpful for you. If you have any questions or comments or anything, please, comment below. Definitely, if you haven't subscribed already, subscribe to our channel. And because we're always doing stuff like this and trying to help you guys learn, and because goats are not easy, and there's not a ton of info out there. So like I said, I hope this helped, and I hope you guys have a wonderful goat field day.